The Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57, and I was confident the whole way. I picked them to win, and I knew it. I knew they were going to win the whole time, right? Not when they were down by 10 at halftime or when someone hurt his ankle again. No, I was fine. I knew they were going to win it the whole time. The Chiefs win the Super Bowl by a score of 38-35, but it doesn't go without some controversy. Obviously, it was just an absolute great game of football to watch. Usually the Super Bowl can either be a blowout or a really close game. Luckily, we got a very, very good Super Bowl to watch this year. Both teams' offenses were firing on all cylinders, going back and forth throughout the entire game. The defense coming up with some clutch stops as well. It was just an absolute great game to watch. But, like I said, there are a couple of talking points about this game, so let's get into those real quick. I think the biggest talking point ever since the Super Bowl happened was the grass that the teams played on. So apparently, the NFL decided to bring in a new style of grass for the Super Bowl. Now this grass took over 2 years to make, and before the Super Bowl, they wheeled it outside of the stadium for it to get sunlight every single day. And in total, the whole project cost over $800,000. Now, if you haven't seen the video, literally there's video every single day. The turf gets wheeled outside of the stadium. They lift up one of the end zones so the turf can slide out of the stadium to get sunlight every single day, which is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. But the biggest talking point was how easy players were slipping and sliding all over the place. I mean, you've got guys changing cleats throughout the game just so they can keep some kind of grip beneath their feet. All in all, the new grass just wasn't it, and I hope that they don't use that going into the future. Now, like I said earlier, this is one of the best Super Bowls that we've seen in a long time, but that doesn't go without some controversial talking points. Now, the biggest talking point as far as on the field was Juju Smith-Schuster getting held by James Bradbury with less than 2 minutes to go right before the Chiefs were about to score a touchdown. Now, it's a very controversial call because it is a holding penalty as far as the NFL's rule go, but if you look at every single play throughout that entire game, there's at least one infraction very similar, and that was the first holding call called throughout the entire game. So given the score being tied at 35 with less than 2 minutes to go, and this being the first penalty of its kind being called, it is very unpopular through the public. Personally, I would have liked it if they didn't call that penalty, just because I would have liked to see the Eagles have at least one more opportunity to try and tie the game or score a touchdown and win. But that's just one of the few things that happened throughout the game that could have gone either way. For example, there were a couple of things that happened while the Eagles were on offense that could have gone the opposite way and had a big impact on the game. There were a couple of catches made by the Eagles players that were very on the line of whether it was a catch or not, and there was also a play where the Eagles receiver caught it, took a couple of steps, and then got tackled by a Chiefs player where the ball came out and the Chiefs ran it back for a touchdown, but they called that an incomplete pass. So, like I said, there were a few instances where if one decision went the opposite way, it would have affected the game just as much as the holding call at the end of the game. But when the clock hit zero, the Kansas City Chiefs have won their second Super Bowl in the last 5 years, and Patrick Mahomes becomes the first quarterback to win NFL MVP through the regular season and Super Bowl MVP. This team is going to be scary good for the next long time, and they don't show any signs of stopping. And as for the Eagles, they played a heck of a game. Maybe they got hard done by because this was just an absolute great game. Unfortunately, one team had to lose. There was no real winner or loser. There just had to be a team with a higher score than the other at the end of the game. This was just so much fun to watch. I can't say it enough. So there's my kind of quick recap of the game, my instant thoughts and opinions on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're new around here, you'll be seeing plenty more videos like this. And check out my podcast that I have with my brother, my best friend. They're going to come out every single Friday going forward. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.